Hey, this is Nick the Mining Book Guy. Today is Monday, January 15th, late night, 2018. First video of the year. And hopefully won't run too long because this is all about my upcoming adventure to Vancouver starting at the end of this week. And I'll go through the back to back to back conferences I'll be attending, which is pretty exciting for me as I've only attended one conference before at Beaver Creek last year. And I think 2018 is going to be the year of conferences because I had such a good time at that one. Before I get into the meat of the presentation, a couple links to share, especially for people who subscribe to my YouTube channel that haven't seen these yet. Look at this title, Millennial Resource Investors and How to Reach Them. This really cool site, Clear Creek Digital, is from my new friend Trevor Hall. And while I share this at CEO.CA, I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet. It's probably my most professional looking piece of material, a little article and a podcast. So I really thank Trevor for interviewing me, and I think it came out really well. So there's a link below this YouTube if you haven't listened to it. Go check that out. And if you check that out, also check out this great new video from my buddy Bill Powers from Mining Stock Education, who has interviewed me in the past, but here he interviews Glenn Mullen, who is the PDAC president, which is a conference coming up in March, which I will also be attending. So more on that in a future video, but relevant here because there's great tips and background about why it's important to attend these conferences and how best to go about it. So again, that's a link below this video as well. Be great if you took a look or take a listen to either of those. So do that at your own time. But back to what's going on here. Actually, I have an immediate shout out to my buddy at Martin from CEO.CA. I'm really looking forward to meeting up with him at the Metals Investors Forum. And even though this says March, it actually is starting Friday, January 19th. And Martin was really encouraging for me to attend MIF, Metals Investors Forum. And I'm glad he did because it kind of led to my interest in all these other conferences at the same time. And if in case you're not aware, to my knowledge, Martin is the only person at CEO.ca who's publicly gotten in early for Orion Resources and Novo Resources, which were huge winners last year. And I don't know how he's traded them exactly. That's real, in my opinion, should have enhanced his credibility a ton. And I know he has followers, but he's definitely not one of the most followed at CEO.ca. So you should definitely consider following him if you're like me and you like to see up and coming people at the site, because it's not just about the most followed people and blah blah blah. So anyway, Martin's someone you should definitely check out. And also a shout out to Eric Coffin, who on the other hand is one of the most followed people at CEO.ca, and he's very relevant here. I also had some chats with Eric. I don't know him well at all. I mean, just a couple private chats at CEO.ca, and we've sparred publicly a little bit. I'm really looking forward to meeting him at the Metals Investors Forum. Definitely consider following him if you haven't already, and consider subscribing to his Hard Rocket Analyst newsletter. But you should, if you follow him at CEO.ca, you'll get a ton of awesome info for free, and then you can decide to subscribe to the newsletter. And that leads into what the Metals Investors Forum is all about, is that it's a newsletter run event. And you can see Eric here, so I'm really looking forward to meeting Eric. I hope to meet Gwen as well. I actually wish that Gwen posted more at CEO.ca. She used to. I'm not sure why now, but no big deal there. But the funny thing is, like, all these other guys, and some of these guys I know, some I don't really know. I mean, I know of, some I barely even heard of. The bunch of newsletter writers, really cool to hear about them, but none of them are really active on the site, besides Eric. So I find that kind of interesting. I'm hoping more newsletter writers are active at CEO.ca, but this is a great place to hear their picks. And in terms of the event itself, it goes uh, in different sections, are kind of led by each of the writers. And unfortunately, I'm going to miss the beginning. Oh, I'm on the Saturday page, but if go back to the Friday, yeah, I'm going to miss Gwen, I'll miss Eric, and I'll miss Jay for sure because my flight's probably not going to arrive until around here. And I'm hoping to reach MIF by the afternoon coffee break, hit Joe Mazumdar's show, and then the cocktail reception. And I want to emphasize, even though this is about the writers, uh, I'm especially interested in MIF for, well, not just for the cocktails, but to meet the people who are going to be at the cocktails and, the people who are around there. I think this is probably going to be the best event for meeting other CEO.ca regulars like myself or lurkers, people who might know of me, but I have no idea who they are and they might want to meet up with me. So if you're one of those people, definitely reach out to me, and I'll mention that again in this video, but it'd be great to meet people who are familiar with the site, familiar with my YouTube channel. But a couple other shout outs. Oh, James Quanis, who's a newsletter writer, he's not uh, listed in this event. I'm really looking forward to meeting him as well. And he's one of the other few newsletter writers who's a regular at CEO.ca. Great content. So that's going to be great. Even Prime, definitely looking forward to meeting with him. Great CEO.ca moderator. Newton, or also known as Peter Bell. I'll mention him again. He's very prolific in social media. Looking forward to that. And then Luke Tenhav, definitely was going to be great to meet Luke, who has had some great picks at CEO.ca, very well respected. That's just a beginner's list. Those are people that I'm sure I'm going to meet. There's going to be a lot more, so that's exciting for MIF, which goes into Saturday, and will Friday night or evening will be where I start, but Saturday is going to be all about MIF. And so we move into Sunday and we get into VRIC, the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. And so a lot more people attending this one. I'm pretty excited about this as well. Though I have to say, like, the agenda is like a mishmash of all sorts of stuff. I don't know how much of many of these things I'll attend. Now, from what I've heard, this is kind of become a Marin Katusa event. I believe Cambridge House and Marin Katusa kind of partner on it, but Marin's involved with a lot of things. It'd be cool to meet Marin. I've never spoken with him. He never contributes to my knowledge at CEO.ca, but that could be neat in itself. But I wanted to make a special shout out for my buddy David Erfley. He's somewhere on here. Let's see if I can at least find his picture for you. There he is. So yeah, I'm going to attend this workshop for sure. I've actually haven't told him I'm attending yet, but I met David for the first time at Beaver Creek last year, and he's doing a ton of events here. And I know he's had a really good year with picks, so I feel like he's becoming more recognizable in the industry, and he's definitely one of the people I'm looking forward to seeing at VRIC, among many others. But I also wanted to mention that for me, the more important aspect of VRIC, and this might be a tip for other people who are attending VRIC, you might not be aware that on this site there's this little corner that says one-on-one meetings. You probably got an email, but if you didn't, make sure to go there, and this is where the link takes you. I have already started to set up one-on-ones with companies very similar to Beaver Creek. I didn't know that was possible, and I think that's great. I have to say the overall list of companies, I don't find it as high quality as Beaver Creek, particularly for my interests. And yeah, I don't want to be too prejudiced, but what I like about Beaver Creek is there's this big mix of ASX, of global companies. There's a lot more ASX companies, but I'm happy that there's a few ASX listed ones here, Australian listed, because that's, and companies doing exploration around the world. And I will give you two examples. Shout outs to companies that I've mentioned in videos before that I own a lot of shares of, Xanadu Mines and Mondoro Capital. I will definitely be meeting with both of those companies. I've got a few other, kind of secret ones that I'm not going to mention yet, but I'm looking forward to this. I'll probably meet up to 10 companies here. So for me, that's a main priority because even though they have an exhibit hall, I really get a lot of value out of doing, a 20 or 25-minute one-on-one with the company, and you can really do a deep dive. And it is nice to meet in person, even though you can get information on the phone. So wanted to emphasize that. I think that's a really nice value add for VRIC. And a couple shout outs related to this. I'm sure I'll be meeting Investigator, the Wealth Miner, and the Daily Gold. Actually, Jordan, the Daily Gold, I'll see him somewhere, either MIF or at VRIC. But those are all of those guys are actually related to the newsletter business as well, and I'm really looking forward to meeting them. They contribute at CEO.CA as well. And finally, AME Roundup 2018. So, immediate special thanks to Leslie Stokes and again Newton or Peter Bell. They both recommended I contact Jonathan Buchanan for a free press pass. Very thankful for that, and I'm thankful for Jonathan for providing one for me because my press pass is basically based on my contributions at CEO.CA and this YouTube channel. And so I'm going to try to make the most of it. Also, thanks to James Quanis and even Tommy because they made some recommendations as well on this. But Leslie and Newton were the ones who really encouraged me at the end. So I'm just really happy about that I can attend this for free because otherwise this can get kind of expensive depending on what you're going to attend. For me, the key date is Tuesday, but I may attend partially on Monday, and I'm now interested to attend Wednesday morning, even though I fly out Wednesday afternoon. And there's a lot going on at Roundup. I feel like I'm going to be out of my element a bit. This is more geo-technical side of things. But with that said, what I'm most interested in is Core-Shack, and I've seen some cool videos. Actually, CEO.ca made some of these neat videos in the past, and actually, I've never seen Core in person. So for the first time, that will be really cool. And I saw a list of companies, and it's interesting. I was looking at this list. So this is for Monday and Tuesday. There's these companies here, and this link will be below as well. It might be of interest to you. And there's one set of companies, and I'm just gonna point out SolGold here. Keep that in mind. But then on Wednesday and Thursday is a whole different set, and I'm just looking at this. I mean, if you're looking at this list, there are definitely some companies that would stand out as CEO.ca favorites. But when I saw Xanadu on here, I was like, yes, I really want to see the Xanadu Core. So I may go on Wednesday morning specifically to see Xanadu. And I want to emphasize this point. I believe every company here is Canadian listed except for Xanadu. And while SolGold's Canadian listed, it was only listed on AIM in London prior to a few months ago or 6 months ago or something like that. This will be something I may go into in a future video, maybe related to what I'm doing here. But I'm hoping that Xanadu makes the splash that SolGold has made over the past year. And it shows you how global and how exciting the mining industry is because even though there's a lot of cool stuff going on with Canadian companies, it doesn't matter what your company's from. If it makes an awesome discovery, then they're going to be at something like Core-Shack. So this and again, of course, Ivanhoe Mines. That's another big one. So I mean, just as one that's Canadian listed, but something that people know about. So I'm looking forward to this as kind of an X factor, and I'm hoping to take a lot of pictures and maybe do some live blogging, and then I'll be doing some YouTube summaries, the best I can to give you my impressions on how this goes. And I'm talking specifically about Roundup right here, but the same will apply for the other events as well. And it'll be really cool because I know that Newton and some others are going to be live blogging as these various events as well. So I'm really hoping that even if you can't attend any of these, you will be going to CEO.CA and you know, really taking advantage of this great platform. Basically, you know, your mining conference in your pocket. That's what CEO.CA is, and so that's one reason I made this video, to let you know what's coming. And I'm looking forward to sharing some great content. If you're attending, maybe I'll randomly run into you. You probably know what I look like based on my other videos, but feel free to reach out to me at CEO.CA, either publicly or privately, over the next few days if you want to set anything up. Otherwise, we'll have plenty more to say during the conferences and after the conferences, and really looking forward to meeting a bunch of you. So, this is Nick the Mining Book Guy. Thanks again for listening, and I will see some of you soon. Bye.